And I'm just going to keep it going, and I'm going to bring up your next performer. You guys don't need a breath. You don't need a breath. You don't need a rest. We're just going to keep going with the laughs. Give them a big round of applause for Bridget Callahan.
You all are wonderful people, but also I just saw a person I haven't seen in 5 years, right as I was walking up. So it's already a good night. You guys having a good night? Yeah. This is weird to turn on. So I don't know about you, but I need to go back into quarantine real badly. I have spent a lot of money in the last couple months. And also it turns out that I think I've lost my immunity to everything else that I gained from years of bar hopping and making out with DJs, right? I've just been getting like strapped and cold. I almost broke my ankle. I'm done. And it all started happening when I moved back to Wilmington, and I'm not going to blame it on Wilmington. I'm not saying you're dirty, nasty, German-infested people. I'm not. Some of you, mostly the comics, right? But I do think that it's appropriate that the plant of this town is a Venus flytrap. I think it's the most appropriate thing ever because it's like this beautiful, rare thing that just slowly digests you for years, right? Just breaking you down cell by cell so you're bleeding into the ground. Yeah, I'm back. I moved back here from Colorado. Actually, I was a pandemic refugee. I was like, fuck paying Denver prices. I want the beach. If I'm gonna die, let me be by the beach, right? And it occurred to me that's kind of like what the Victorians used to do to their sick people, right? Like you would go to the seaside to take in like the sea vapors and do cocaine. And that's exactly what I'm doing now. It's great. Awesome. I love it. Colorado's beautiful, obviously, right? And like, yay, weed, yeah. Obviously, this girl knows. But it was a lot of masculine energy. I was not prepared for the fact that every male stereotype you could ever think of exists in Colorado. It's like the epicenter of all of it. It's like you got cowboys, you got IT developers living in $200,000 vans, right? You got like weird festival kids trying to sell you mushrooms they foraged from some field that their grandparents owned. It's a lot. Every time I went on a date there, they would ask me to go skiing on a first date. Y'all can see me up here. My Tinder profile is very honest. Does it look like I've ever been skiing in my motherfucking life? Right? I'm from Cleveland, where our winter sport is, not stepping on pigeons frozen to the sidewalk, right? That's what we're trying to do. I'm not very good at that either, and that is not a good thing to not be good at, let me tell you. Just for fun, I looked up the definition of skiing in my favorite lexicon of human knowledge, Urban Dictionary. And, 12 definitions of skiing. The first 11 were all cocaine related, we know that. Some of us know that. The 12th definition was sitting bitch in a pickup truck while jerking two guys off. So, who's the skiing expert now? I'm an Ohio girl, man. I'm an Ohio girl all the way. Yeah, thank you. You want to bet on who's going to win the marathon? You pick the skinny black guy from Kenya. You want a blowjob with mommy issues? Pick the fat girl from Ohio, right? And they're mommy issues. They're not daddy issues. They're mommy issues. It's because our moms told us we weren't pretty enough, so we blew every guy from the other high school, and now we all own cupcake shops. That's mommy issues. Not as sexy to say when you're getting pegged. I don't know. I didn't tell you I was the dirty comic. I am the dirty comic. Everyone else has been so nice and clean. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. It's going to get worse. So I'm 42. Thank you. I do like being 42. Secret to life, universe, and everything. And no one gets that probably. But I used to, for the last 6 years, only date guys that were like 21 and 22. I had a hard cap at 25. I was like, no more than 25. And it turns out there is an expiration date to how long you can pretend to be impressed by vape tricks, and I hit it. So I'm trying to date people my own age now. And it's hard. I mean, guys in their 40s, look, I understand why girls in their 40s are weird. Because we were 15 when AOL chat came out, you know? Like 33-year-old guys on the internet have been buying me shit my entire life. Guys, I don't know. I think that it might have something to do with like, guys don't have the same language for like knowing how to deal with their hormonal changes, right? They don't know how to describe it. Girls, we talk about our hormones all the time. Because I noticed that guys in their 40s, there's this thing that happens where their salivary glands kick into overdrive. They are just spit machines, I swear to God. It's like making out with a goldfish on Molly or a drunk St. Bernard, something like that. I think it's why they grow the beards, is to soak up the spit, honestly. I said that at a show once, and the guy in the back was like, it's for soaking up the pussy juice. I was like, you are wearing a Jurassic Park t-shirt, no one believes you. Nope. I did manage to go on a date recently with a guy who was also 42, so please give it up for that, because that was hard. It's hard to meet guys in their 40s who are not raging alcoholics, because you're used to meeting at bars, right? But this guy was nice. He was a professor, and it turned out he was also a puppeteer. You get desperate, girls. You get desperate. And we went, we had a nice date. We went and got cocktails. He was fine. But then he did that thing at the end of the night that I'm always a little bit unsure of, because, you know, so what he did is he asked me to go back and smoke a bowl at his house, which doesn't sound that bad, but I'm going to a guy's house, so I don't know that well, right? And my parents raised me on a very steady diet of Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, feminism, all the way. If there's one thing that taught me, it's that you never turn down free weed and puppets, you know? So I went. And then when I got there, the thing that I was like most scared of happening did happen. He made me listen to podcasts for 2 fucking hours. And as I'm walking around his house, just kind of ignoring the dulcet tones of Joe Rogan, I noticed that around his house, there's all these pictures of him and the same other 5 people dressed up in very elaborate wolf costumes. Who knows what that means? Show of hands. Yeah, it means he's a furry. Yeah. Standards, ladies, standards. So, before we get judgy, let's not kink shame here. We're not going to be that crowd. Listen, I'm looking at these pictures. They're camping in Moab. They're hanging out at Burning Man. They're like coffee tasting in Jamaica. They're hanging out rooftop poolside in Vegas with their little tails dipping in the pool, right? By the end of the tour, I was like, I am a comedian. I have no financial support. How do I become part of your wolf pack, right? Do I let you sniff my ass? Is that the protocol? Is that what you got? All right, I got the light, so I think I have time for one more joke. It's my dirtiest joke that I have. Do you all want to hear it? I need agreement on this. Okay. I'll try to tell it quick, Steve. All right, so this is another guy I was dating for a minute. And after our second date, so, you know, I liked him enough to go out and go with him again. After our second date, he texted me and he said, hey, I just had this funny thought just now. What if we took your cum and my cum and we mixed them together and I spoon-fed them to you? Is a thing a real live fucking human being from Burgos said to me, right? Now, I got a lot of problems with that. One, that seems like a face-to-face conversation. I can't believe you texted me that shit. 2, nobody in the history of just thinking of things has ever just thought of that. You have been holding on to that shit for 12 years and wanking off to Margaret Thatcher, whatever the fuck you were doing. I'm the first girl who looks like she might do it. I don't know how to change that about myself, but I am working on it, you know? 3rd, I'm a creative pothead. You can't say that shit to me without me picturing it. So, I thought about it. I was like, your cum, my cum. Very obvious time delay right off the bat. One of them's gonna get cold. And I am a thing about lukewarm liquids. So I don't think you can microwave that shit. I think it's gonna separate. So, I texted him back and I said, listen, I am willing to give this a shot. You are willing to hold it in your mouth and mama bird me at the end. And I never heard from him again. Thank you, everybody.
Bridget,